Now let's see about making one that looks like it's a little bit above and behind this one. That's a good skill to have if you're going to be using any kind of perspective in drawing, or for any drawing for that matter. So I start with my vertical line, and then we always have our converging lines to point A and point B. And from the top of the line down to point A. And then just a little really light line all the way down. We do that to make sure that we're not just kind of slanting the ruler off into some random direction. So I make it dark to a certain point and then light to the point B. So there we have 3 converging lines. Now we'll have the 4th one. And that one's going from the vertical line to point B also. There we go. Now I just decide how long I want this box to be, and then decide where to put the other vertical lines. So there's one. So it's going to be sticking out beyond where this other one is. And then here's the other one. Alright, so it's above and just a little bit behind, a little bit farther back, I think. And now I'm going to draw from this vertical line to point B over here. So this overlaps it a little bit, and it's a little bit behind. And I just have one little bit more thing to do here. There we go. Now I'll make another structure, and I'll use placement and overlapping to make that one look like it's farther back. So I'll start out with my vertical line, and I'm stopping and jumping over and then continuing. And you see, notice how the vertical line is a little bit above the vertical line, or the bottom of the vertical line for the other structure. Okay, now I make my converging lines back to point A and then point B. So I stop, jump over, and then I go up to the top of the line here and draw my line back to point A, and all the way back, although some of it's really, really light, and then to point B, doing the same thing as I did to the other one. All right, now we just have to add our final vertical lines. So I'll put one here, and then I have to finish off the other one. That one you're not going to see much because the other structures are really overlapping it. So you see this one is a little bit higher up on the page, and it's being overlapped. And so I'm using placement and overlapping as well as perspective to add depth. Alright, now in addition to the 2-point perspective, I'll use size change and overlapping, starting with my vertical line, and then drawing a line from the bottom of it all the way over to point A, but only really lightly, and then the top of the line all the way to point A. When I get to this other box, I stop, and then my line is really light, and then to point B, okay, from the top of this line to point B, and then from the top of this line to point B, or bottom of this line, I mean, to point B. Okay, finish it up with a vertical line here, and you see when I get to this other box I have to stop because it's overlapping it. And now another vertical line. Okay, just about done with that box. Okay, from this corner to the opposite vanishing point, draw lightly. And then from this corner to the opposite vanishing point, and let the lines cross like this. So now this box is a little bit smaller than the one in front of it, and it's also being overlapped. Size change and linear perspective go hand in hand. So if I make a little box behind this one, linear perspective makes it look smaller because of the way it is, and it also makes it look farther away. So I've got my line, and now I'm going to draw my converging lines. With this now, you just remember that when you get to different things, you stop and jump over. And I'm drawing right through them with a really, really light line, but better to stop and jump over. But since I'm just using this for teaching, okay, now I'm going to line it up to point B. And bottom of the line to point B also. And then I have to add my vertical lines. Now, remember, since it's overlapping, you stop when you run into the other one. And here's my vertical line on the B side. All right, now I line up the line on the B side with point A over here. Stop, jump over. And then I line it up with point B over here, from here. So now we have one that's using linear perspective and size change. So in addition to linear perspective, we have the other tools for creating depth, and they can be used with or without linear perspective. We have placement. If something's placed higher up on the page, it looks farther away. We have overlapping. If one image hides part of the other one and was overlapping it, then it makes the one that's partially hidden look farther away. And then we have size change. If something's smaller, it looks farther away too, but that's pretty much used in addition to placement to get the effect of depth.